Listen, obviously wrestling wasn't perfect in 2025, but I think it was more good than bad. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 stars, 5 WWE superstars who I think had an absolutely killer breakout year. So let's get into it. Hey, since you're here, might as well subscribe, right? Look, I know what I said in the intro, but let's be honest here. These are like my top 5 favorite WWE superstars of 2025, but I tried to not go with some of the obvious, right? So, as an honorary mention in this video, I want to say that Becky Lynch had an amazing year. This heel character of hers, this Trumpian persona that she's carried herself with in 2025 and the second half of 2025, this whole like I'm the best in the world, and I'm not the one saying this, right? Right? Sports Illustrated is saying this, ESPN is saying this, right? Everybody's saying this, right? Like this character that she has been super amazing. Heel Becky is best Becky. I am sorry to say this because I also loved face Becky, but I think heel Becky is best Becky, and I think she's done the best work of her life this year. This whole Becky Hogan thing that she leaned into, amazing, right? Like people, I remember after WrestleMania, people were showing up with Becky Hogan signs. She came out dressed in yellow and red. It was amazing. So, honorary mention in 2025 as one of my favorite superstars, one of my breakout stars of the year. I know she's not a breakout star. I know she's already a star. That's why she's just an honorary mention. But I loved what Becky Lynch did this year. All right, now that we got that honorable mention out of the way, let's talk about my actual top 5. And number 5, as far as I'm concerned, as being one of the breakout stars of this year and one of my favorites of 2025. That's what the list is again. Is Bronson Reed. Now, this comes with a caveat because I actually didn't realize this until I did a little bit of research. Bronson Reed did not win a singles match in 2025 until, checks notes, August of this year. That is criminal, WWE. This guy, I don't know. And I feel like this is probably going to be the one that you're all going to disagree with me on. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you're going to disagree with all 5 because I don't know. Because that's the way wrestling works, right? It's your opinions are valid and so is mine. But I think this guy's so charismatic. I think he when he's portrayed as a monster like he was at the end of 2024 before that injury, really honestly put a big halt in his trajectory and where he was going. This guy was booked as a monster who took out Braun Breaker. He took out Ricochet, never to return again, by the way. And I feel like when he's booked correctly that way, this guy like shoot him to the moon, man. Also, like I said, super charismatic. That whole tribal thief thing, I feel like WWE should have leaned into so much more. He should have started collecting sneakers from every single wrestler he beat. That should have been his gimmick. Just a long Ula Fala full of sneakers. Just he took Roman Reigns' sneakers, what, twice or 3 times, and that gave him the moniker of Tribal Thief. And fine, that was fun, but they really should have leaned into it a little bit more. That match he had against Roman in Australia, right? That Australian street fight, man, like that match put him over so well and honestly portrayed him as a monster that WWE should book him as. So I feel like WWE did not take full advantage of him in 2025, considering. Again, I didn't realize this until I did my research. Shout out to Cage Match, by the way. And so I did my research on his matches this year. I didn't realize he didn't win until August. But even then, for me, he has been a breakout. Just his personality alone, right? The aura he carries himself with, I think is awesome. I think he needs better ring gear. That I will say. I do think he needs better ring gear. But I think this guy is a star. And if WWE play their cards right, they can have 2 major stars with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at the end of this whole Vision thing. It doesn't help him that he is, he's up there in age. I think I saw he was 37 years old. That's not a young man. So I totally get it. But man, I think this guy had one of his best years this year in character work alone, in persona alone. I think just WWE just needs to do a little bit of tweaking with his booking. Just book him a little bit better. Let's throw a mid card title on him. Let's throw an IC title on him. And man, I think WWE can really make some magic with him here. So Braun Breaker as my number 5 breakout star slash just someone I really liked in 2025. All right, for my number 4, I have to caveat it, right? Because I feel like number 1 through 4 could have been in any order, and they all would have been right. I do feel like Bronson Reed, especially after looking over his individual win-loss record, number 5 was probably the right call for him because he is one of my favorites. But as far as breakout stars are concerned, some more wins really would have helped them. But 1 through 4, any order would have worked. But this is my list and not yours. So at number 4, I have Stephanie Vaquer as the number 4 breakout star of 2025 for me. Look, she was in the Royal Rumble in January, just played a really good role. That's where she was kind of introduced to the main roster. Fun to see her out there. She was currently or not currently, but at the time, she was the NXT champion going into the Royal Rumble. And just a lot of fun to see her and honestly, a lot of NXT talent just being introduced in that Rumble. Great. She then had some matches here and there. Most notably, she had that match against Io Sky, which was her main roster debut. That ended in a no contest. It was champion versus champion, NXT champion versus WWE World Champion, and WWE doesn't like having a winner in those most of the time. Shout out to Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes. So this ended in a no contest. I don't remember who interfered, but it ended in a no contest, and no big deal. No one got hurt. She then got officially called up to the main roster of WWE in June and became WWE World Champion in September. Since then, she hasn't had a lot of feuds, but her matches are just so fun to watch, right? Her moveset is amazing. We all know the Devil's Kiss. That's a great move. It's just so fun. We all have seen her finisher, that corkscrew swanton thing she does. It's amazing. Love that. She is super charismatic, right? She has this way of connecting with fans because she just feels real and honestly just talent alone. Just because of her talent alone, nothing else matters. Amazing. Stephanie Vaquer has had a hell of a year, a hell of a breakout year. I can't wait to see all of the things she does in WWE in the next coming years. I'd like to someday maybe see a heel run for her. I don't know, but Stephanie Vaquer just has something. She has it. She has it, and she's my number 4 breakout star of 2025. At number 3 breakout star, and look, this is why he's number 3. Ready? You already know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Penta. Penta had his debut in WWE in January of this year. His first 3 matches, listen to this, his first 3 matches were against Chad Gable, Pete Dunne, and Ludwig Kaiser. If you know, you know. Really interesting that those were his first 3 matches. If you can make that connection, great. You're probably in the majority. But this guy, again, just like Stephanie Vaquer, but more so, I just feel like he has something that connects with the fans. It's just like passion, raw talent, cuts amazing promos. His entrance is great. That little walk. Who hasn't done that walk when they're alone at home, right? I've done that walk. I've done Obafemi's walk. He just has something that connects with all of us that not a lot of wrestlers have, man. You can't buy that. You can't teach it. He just has it. So Penta, unfortunately, he was injured in November in that Last Time Is Now tournament against Solo Sikoa. I hope he comes back soon. He was actually scheduled to reunite with his brother Rey Fenix at AAA Guerra de Titanes this past week, I think it was. Rey Mysterio stepped in because Penta was hurt, but again, right, Penta just has something that you can't teach that WWE hasn't had in a very long time, which is just, amazing charisma, just raw talent, like just a unique wrestler, right, in the ring, on the mic, in his entrance, with the fans. He's honestly just like no other, and I can't wait to see what WWE does with him. I hope that WWE doesn't ruin what they have because they've honestly captured lightning in a bottle with Penta. And listen, WWE knows how to mess up a good thing. So I hope that this isn't one of those things. Let's just like Bronson Reed, let's give him a mid-card title. Hell, let's give him the big title. Let's give him a world championship. why not, right? I hope he comes back from injury soon because honestly, Monday Night Raw is that much more interesting with him in it. So, Penta Cero Miedo as my number 3 breakout star of 2025. All right, number 2 is no other than Chelsea Green. Listen, maybe you guys have caught on by now, but I love Chelsea Green. This channel loves Chelsea Green. I will always sing her praises to Chelsea Green. And it's just cheating a little bit because I didn't realize that when she won the U.S. title the first time, that was actually December of 2024. But after she won it, she was off TV until January of 2025. So technically, her 2 U.S. title runs have been in 2025. So she is the first ever 2-time U.S. champion. She's the first ever women's U.S. champion, the first ever 2-time women U.S. champion. She currently also holds that mixed tag championship in AAA with Ethan Page. She, again, right, character work, super charismatic, just so fun to watch on TV. Her promos are fun. She's a great wrestler, even though in ring she plays the coward. She's an amazing wrestler. Look at some of her old work if you don't believe me. Look at that match against Penta if you don't believe me, right? She's just awesome in ring, really fun to watch. Again, super charismatic. Her feuds, listen, some of her feuds have been lacking. I'm not gonna lie, right? But holding the U.S. champion, feuding with Michin, like those feuds were fun. Some of those again were also in 2024, but gave, as far as I'm concerned, gave Michin some of her best matches, right? Same thing when she faced Zelina Vega and she lost that title to Zelina Vega eventually. Gave Zelina Vega some of Zelina's best matches. She is currently feuding with Julia. She beat Julia for the U.S. title to become the first ever 2-time women's U.S. champion on November 7th of this year. And still feuding with Julia as Julia tries to get that title back. The problem with her booking is not her. The problem with the U.S. title booking is not any of these women. It's Smackdown. Listen, I've done multiple videos talking about why Smackdown just doesn't do it for me right now, and I think we can all agree that the writing's just not great. But she does amazing work with what she's given, and I think that Chelsea Green is a star that WWE needs to hang on to by any means necessary. Listen, she works SmackDown. She works NXT. She works AAA. This woman works every promotion that WWE has, and she does it flawlessly. She is amazing. She is our U.S. champion. Chelsea Green, my number 2 breakout star, and honestly, just number 2 favorite of 2025. Listen, number 1 should come to no one's surprise. Because as far as I am concerned, there is only one right answer for number 1. I know I said that number 1 and 4 could be shuffled in any way, and they're all right. But I lied. 2, 3, and 4 could be shuffled in any way, and that's fine. But number 1, there is no doubt about this. The breakout star of 2025 is none other than El Sucio, Dirty Dominik Mysterio. This guy in 1 year has become just an absolute megastar. An absolute megastar. 2-time IC champion. Had 3 of John Cena's last 4 matches were against Dominik Mysterio. That didn't happen by accident. I know that John Cena's like, I didn't book my matches, I didn't pick my matches, but that didn't happen by accident. He was in those matches and he shined. This guy is a great worker. Obviously, he was trained by his dad, so of course he's going to be a great worker in the ring. He's gotten, man, the way that this guy has grown in the mic, the amount that this guy has grown on the mic is just beyond anything I've ever seen before. He went toe to toe with John Cena, not just in the ring, but on the mic in those promos. That promo he cut against John in Boston, that he cut against Triple H in Boston, that is like rock level work. And I'm sorry, look, I know you guys are going to be like, all right, that might be a little much. And maybe that is a little much, right? Maybe I'm glazing him a little bit too much. But Dominik Mysterio to me is just one of those guys that I feel like he's already at other wrestlers' peaks, but he's still growing. He's still learning. The work he's done at AAA, he became AAA's Mega Campeón this year in September as well, where he beat El Hijo del Vikingo for that title. And fans in Mexico have just absolutely connected with him, right? We still like to boo him. We still like to chant against him. In Mexico, they still like to chant Peso Pluma at him just because it's fun and his reactions are fun. Talk about kayfabe. I've never seen an interview with this guy where he isn't in complete character. He talks about Eddie Guerrero as my dad. He talks about Rey Mysterio as that deadbeat. Talks about being the greatest Mysterio of all time. I love that interview where he talks about how he doesn't wear a mask because, you know, all his uncles and his dad, they're ugly, but not him. So why wear a mask, right? His backstage segments, his feud with Penta were amazing. This dude just has everything that I love in a wrestler. I, I'm sure there's going to be people out there that say I'm wrong. I don't care. I don't care. So Dominik Mysterio is my number one breakout star of 2025. And honestly, just my favorite wrestler in WWE right now. There just isn't another one. I tried to think of who I would want to win, you know, the world championship next or any other of the big ones. And just put a world title on him, WWE. Put a world title on Dominik Mysterio. And this guy, unlike some of the people on this list, he's super young. And this guy is going to be a generational superstar in WWE. Even when he's a face, I don't want WWE to mess up this persona, mess up this character that he's developed, that this character that just hits in a different level. He's fun to watch. He's fun to boo. He throws some zingers out there that are just absolutely amazing. His backstage segments with it's the only reason the Judgment Day still matter is because of Dominik Mysterio, right? His story with Liv Morgan is really fun, right? Even if the Judgment Day break up, if they don't, I don't care. This guy is your star out of the Judgment Day, and I can't wait to see what this guy does 5, 10 years from now, because man, this guy has longevity. He's so young. He's so good. I just love Dominik Mysterio so much. So, El Sucio, Dirty Dominik Mysterio, number one breakout star, and Danny Man's favorite for 2025. Tell me I'm wrong, comments. All right, so there you have it. That's my list of breakout stars and my favorites for 2025. Let me know in the comments who your top 5 of the year were. I'm sure a lot of these you'll disagree with. I'm pretty sure Bronson Reed is on no one's top 5 but mine. But listen, I really like the guy. I don't know. Hate me for it. I don't care. But since you made it this far, make sure to drop a like. Like I said, make sure to drop a comment. If you haven't, subscribe. We're having a lot of fun on this channel, and I'd love to have you join me. So check out one of these other videos up here, or here, or here, or here, or here. I don't know where they're going to be, but click on one of these. I have a lot of videos on my channel. I'm sure you'll like at least one of them. And until next time, as always, have a nice day.